Hey guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Queen Sugar, Season 2, Episode 12, Live in the All Along. Or Live Living All Along, whatever. It starts off with Charlie and Remy. So Charlie and Remy, things are going well. They're planning for the Brown Sugar Festival or Carnival. And that's really nice, Brown Sugar. Just love the sound of that. Mind you, Charlie gets a call from her mother, and her mom, Charlie thanks her mom for essentially being there and supporting her and supporting the way how she wants to do things, which is really important because you can tell Charlie's mother has a strong personality, and she's the type that's like, well, you can do this way, but here's how you should really do it. And so it's nice for Charlie just to get some unwavering support from her mom. Now, her and Remy are doing well. They're all kissy. Everything seems to be going well. Then we see Nova. Nova is with Robert, and they're going through this plan of attack. How they're going to go and focus on Zika. How they're going to make sure that they control the narrative. And it's funny because they even talk the same. They enunciate the same. Nova and Robert. So you can just tell Robert's just impressed with Nova, and he just loves her. So he gets her these pearls, but they're not like regular pearls. They're more so like carbon, if you will. A carbon shade color of pearls. And that goes exactly with Nova's earthly, motherly, tribal look. And she's ready to take on the world. So then we see Ralph Angel with Darla, and they're planning to go to the Justice of the Peace. They're planning to go to the Justice of the Peace instead of having a big wedding. And we could tell who was the one who spearheaded that thought process. I'm like, that does not sound like Ralph Angel. But on Vi, when she heard that, she said, oh, well, you know, I support you guys regardless, but we'll make it really easy for you if you go and get married and have a big wedding and do it in the church. And yes. But again, she's trying not to pry, so she's backing off. But we know. Now we see that apparently part 1 is done of the interview that Nova and Robert were supposed to be at. So now it's part 2, and in part 2 things take a turn because Nova didn't expect for Robert to come at her like that. Robert was coming at her with information, with facts, but she was able to go in rebuttal, essentially say, look, at the end of the day, who does Zika affect? And he said, well, everyone. And yes. And so she won the debate, but you could tell that she was pissed. She even kind of ran off out of there and didn't say, you know, shake the reporter's hand or anything. So then Robert goes after her, and he's thinking, I'm trying to help you out. I believe in what you're doing. I just wanted to make sure that people were talking. Now people are engaged, because he looked at social media for part 1 and there was no chatter at all. Part 2, people got online and the social warriors were out and ready to go. He's like, I have no problem being the bad guy. But she said, look, you threw me under the bus and you didn't even let me know. And I will give Nova that. It is, because my issue is, it's disrespectful to think that I don't have the ability to act like I can't go at you if you don't pre-warn me. Trust me, you don't know what I'm capable of. But you're trying to act like you do. And so I understood where Nova was coming from. We see Davis, I'm thinking, why? But Davis, he's going to need to have operation. It's going to take him out for at least 6 weeks, potentially longer, potentially the whole season. And you know he wants to go and call Charlie. And he does call Charlie while she's with Remy, but she's planning, so she just ignores it. I'm thinking, oh, poor Davis. And we see that Tamar gives him a text, how's it going, is everything okay? So he does have someone in his corner, but he just wants the original. He wants his cake and eating it too. And so that's why I was like, Charlie, you better not go back to this one. While they're planning the festival, the fair, we see the guy who's originally the owner of the land, the park, the property, and we see Landon come out. Landon essentially is going to make his entire mission this day to go and block every path that they have. And Charlie was just like, look, I see what you're trying to do here, but I'm not the one. You can't scare someone like me. You can't go and bully me. You can't go and just do whatever you want. I am a boss. Trust and believe, I am a boss, and I'll figure things out. I'll make a way where there isn't a way. So now she's on the phone with Remy, and they keep calling people, and there's one more person to call, and it was short notice. It's an outside event. It's a large venue that they need, and he went on the strength of this is Ernest Borlone's daughter, and yes, they were able to go and secure the spot. She's so happy. She's like, oh, thank you, thank you. Ralph Angel is talking to, what's his name, Proctor? And Proctor's going over the profits from the farm. They broke even. Ralph Angel's disappointed because he was like, all that work that I did. And it's like, well, you can get a second job. It's like, no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get it from my main job. And so then that's when Ralph Angel, he has to back off because Proctor said, look, for 6 straight seasons, my farm wasn't profitable. If I broke even at least once, maybe I'd still be able to have my farm. And he's like, you know what? I'm sorry. Perspective. You gave me perspective. I just wanted to have something left over so I could give Darla a nice wedding. I think she's assuming that I can't afford it, so that's why she doesn't want to go and do it. You can't afford it. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but come on now. So we see Charlie, she's getting all cozy up with Remy in her house, and Remy's like, I learned some things about you from your mother, but I'm gonna keep that close to the vest. And Charlie's like, oh, now are you? So she gets on top of him. They're about to go and kissy kissy boo boo. That's when Micah opens the door like, I'm home. Davis is there like, Charlie and Remy are looking at this like, oh God, really? Did this really just happen to us? Yes, it really just happened to you. Remy gets a call, and he finds out that they lost the venue. Before that, Davis looked like he wanted to tell Charlie something, and she was just like, what is it? What's good? So after Davis overhears the conversation about their venue, he realizes, oh, I can help you guys out. Why don't you go and, because they lost the other venue, why don't you go and just do it at the Aunt Vi's place? Yeah, it's still outside. She owns a lot of land. I can even go and get some of the players to come there and support. It's a community thing. So they'll be on board. And she's like, oh, really? Thank you. And again, this is the parallel of Remy saved the day before. Now it's Davis saving the day. And so then Davis goes and leaves because he knows like, oh, well, okay. All right, bye. Apparently Aunt Vi was in charge of creating the crown for the brown sugar festival pageant winner. Nova's there. They kind of talk about how great Nova was. Well, Charlie says how great Nova was, but Charlie acknowledges the fact that, originally it was kind of boring, but you guys really picked it up in the second half. And that irked Nova because, remember, that's essentially what Robert told her. Robert told her that I need to make sure that we got chat, we got buzzed. He was like, yeah, you got your points across once there was some conflict. So, that's the last thing Nova wanted to hear. The last thing. Davis finally gets to meet Kiki, and Kiki said, no, I'm going to call you Mr. West. He said, call me Davis. She said, no, that's not how we do things down here. I'm calling you Mr. West. I said, another strike, a positive for Kiki. Another one. I mean, she has 1 million already, but just another one. Anyway, we hear some more bad news. The trucks that were supposed to have all of Charlie's equipment for the festival, why do I keep calling it festival? For the fair, it's not happening. Landon is blocking everything. He's blocking the roads. He's blocking all of the paths. And Aunt Vi said, no. We don't give up. We're Borlones. We don't give up. We will continue to make a way where there isn't a way. So this is when, again, part 2, why don't you, Davis pipes up and says, well, was it Davis or it was one of them that said, you can do it at the mill. Yeah, you can do it at the mill, and we'll just get all the stuff. We'll turn it into, and then that's when everyone else is like, yeah, we'll turn it into a potluck. Everyone will bring a dish. It'll be fun. It won't be what you expected, but all that matters is that the day actually happens. That's all that matters, Charlie. Stop focusing on perfection. You're not losing. It's about empowering the people, not just empowering yourself. So then we see that they're getting things ready, and Ralph Angel's irked. I believe it was Remy that, no, it was Hollywood that realized it. And so then Hollywood was like, all right, what's good? And that's when Ralph Angels was like, look, I thought that I would have been able to pay for the wedding, but that doesn't turn out, that's not the case anymore. And Rem, Hollywood said, there is essentially a graveyard shift. It is hard work, but you'll definitely make some money. Ralph Angel said, no, no offense, but I'm already breaking my back with the farm. I'm not going to break my back at a dead-end job. He might as well just said, no, I'm not going the route that my father went, and me living maybe, losing like 20 years off my life? No. So it's the whole crossroads of what are your real priorities? What do you really want versus what you don't want? Now everyone's there. They're having a good time. Everyone is happy except for Charlie. Even Tamir was there because David said he could bring her. That was what he said at the house, where he's like, yeah, of course I can ask her. Now, mind you, when he got there, Ralph Angel was the only one that really greeted him. Nova kind of gave him the, oh, you're here. And Alpha gave that look of, really? And I was laughing when that happened, but I was just like, okay. All right, at this point, he's still coming around. He's being an okay father. Yeah, I don't have to like him, and I appreciate the realness, but someone needs to go and at least acknowledge this man's existence. That's all. That's nothing else. Not being nice. Just acknowledge the man's existence and move on. Now, everything's going well. Charlie isn't happy, though, because Nova came over. It's like, oh, here's how this goes. I know how you are. And Nova almost says, like, this isn't about you. This is about the community. You are helping the community. It doesn't matter. Because Charlie feels like she let Landing win. The Landry's won because she didn't get to do it her way, the way that would have made the biggest impact. And they said, look, people are happy. This is a community that didn't have much of anything. You came here. You were able to do this. This is going to be around for the next year and the next year and the next year. Come on now. So then she's still being a sourpuss, but she gets it together. Darla looked like how Darla's been looking for this whole season so far, like something's always on her mind. And she talks to Aunt Vi this time and lets Aunt Vi know that she hasn't talked to her mother in 6 years. Her mother called her and said that she's coming to the wedding and just to, see her, to see the grandbaby. And she said it was so easy to talk to her mom. Her mom didn't sound like she was judging. Her mom didn't sound like, oh, you're lying to me. She was just so happy. But she just doesn't know how her father would feel, what happens when they really get here. Aunt Vi said, look, you have family, so that's all that matters. And you have to give your mother the benefit of the doubt. You need to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. And don't just try to go and rush for a justice of the peace thing just to, try to run away from your problems. Because let me tell you something. And this is when she tells Darla about the fact that her first husband was abusive. And she thought he was the best thing since sliced bread, but then he turned out to be an abuser, turned out to be a drunk, and for a while, people in the town, they were looking at her a certain way, there were whispers, but instead of her going running, hiding in the house, no, she got back out there, she was doing her thing, and then, as you see, life moved on. So, moral of the story, don't let anyone ever make you feel small, insignificant. Just worry about how you truly feel about yourself and keep it pushing. I said, that's a word. She didn't say it like that, but I'm saying it like that. Now, Charlie's happy because things went well. She wanted to thank her family. She thanked Davis. She thanked Tamar. And most importantly, she thanked Remy. And I said, that's right. That's right. So she even brought Remy up there and kissed. And I saw Micah's face. I said, Micah, get over it. This is happening. Get over it. Davis had that look of, Tamar caught it. Looked at him like, stop it. So, of course, who was the winner of the brown sugar pageant? Kiki. So Kiki won. And everything was right in the world. Everyone's super excited. Nova was making a comment about Proctor's hat, and I guess saying how, that hat is a reminder of oppression and women's hymn life. Something to the effect. I'm thinking, okay, this is exactly, You don't have to go and bring up every little thing. All right. But then we see that Robert's there. Robert said, "Can I have a moment of your time?" I thought I looked up like, who's saying that? Especially phrasing it that way around here. Girl, you better go. So now we see what we figured what the inevitable was going to be. But I do agree with it. Originally, I thought that was just in her mind. No. Nova is right. Nova broke it off with Robert because Robert was saying how he thought she was brilliant. He apologizes for ambushing her, but he didn't want, it to come off as fake if he let her in on it. And that's why I said, by you doing that and you saying that now, that means that you thought and still possibly think that she can't handle faking being upset with you or being combative. She cares more about what she's talking about than you. Let's be very clear about that. Let's be very clear about that. That's first. First things. First. Second is the fact that you see her on a bigger platform. You see her talking about different things. And then at one point you had the audacity to ask her, do you see yourself here forever? And I get it. On the metaphorically speaking, you see yourself doing other things. You see yourself talking about other topics, other things that motivate you. But if this is her life's passion, because you can't spread yourself thin. Someone who spreads themselves thin wants to do a little bit of everything. They never become a master or an expert in anything. And that's a fact. So she's trying to go and focus here, and eventually it'll go outward. She's not trying to go and just get this big name, be the leader of this cause and that cause. No, she just wants to bring it to light and also help be the social warrior, justice warrior. She thinks that he is brilliant. She thinks that he's attractive, but she knows that he's not for her. And I respected that. Once we got to see that dynamic, I respected that. Ralph Angel and Darla, finally, that communication barrier is coming down. Darla lets Ralph Angel know that her mom's coming. Is going to meet them, and he's happy. He's happy, and he's really happy that she shared it with him and didn't just do this, oh yeah, by the way, no. So their relationship is slowly improving. Davis came over and essentially said, I have to get on the flight back to LA. And I said, don't ask him why. It's a trick. She said she didn't ask him why, and he had that look of, oh, she's not going to ask me? I said, no, go. And he said, by the way, for the record, I am sorry about everything that I've done. I'm thinking, don't break. Don't break. She did it. Our girl's strong. She didn't. But you could tell she had that look of, yes? I said, don't you do it. Don't you do it. You got Remy. And she did acknowledge the fact that she loves Remy, or Remy is serious. Because David said Tamir isn't. Come back next week.